This is the sunset out my door at the cabin here. In probably 3 months I'll have a deck out here I can be sitting on instead of shooting it through the front door, but God, I just love this place. I thought some of you might want to get an idea of what it's like in the cabin out here at night. Of course nothing's going to show up great, but that is my light source. And this is the sounds I go to sleep to. Good night, everyone. I figured since I showed you the sunset, it's only fair to show you the sunrise. It's a little bit noisier this morning because I don't know what he is, 3/4 of a mile away or so, there's a farmer that's out with his tractor right now. That's the noise you hear. I can live with that. Hey there everybody, it's RiverBendSurvival again. It was brought to my attention that it's been almost a year since I've done an update here at the cabin on our off-grid property. The reason's fairly simple. A lot of stuff has happened on the land. A lot of stuff has happened in the cabin, except it doesn't really translate well to video. And I'll explain part of that here in a minute. The cabin is coming along. It's a lot farther along than it was a year ago. It's not nearly as far as I was hoping. And there's a pretty simple reason for that, a couple of simple reasons for that, and I'll cover those because these are the kind of things people need to know before getting into this kind of project. So I'll get resituated here and get you up to date on what's happened. Let's start with one of the biggest changes. If you remember or go back and look at the video, I think it was December, I know it was December of last year, the cabin update for December of 2015, you'll see that I was talking about I was going to do one wall in the cedar boards, the cedar slats. I got one wall done in the bedroom of the cedar slats, and my wife decided she wanted the whole cabin done in them. So I got outvoted 1-0 because she gets to make those kind of decisions. She has to live here too, and I like the cedar. Having said that, putting in those cedar slats is a lot more time consuming than putting up a 4x8 sheet of drywall. Every piece has to be cut individually. They have to be staggered so there's no pattern on the wall. Due to expansion and contraction, I need to pre-drill every hole. Set the nails, put the nails in, and then set each one individually. Just a ton of cuts, a ton of fitting, and that's fine. I enjoy that kind of stuff, but it is time consuming, and it is considerably more expensive buying these cedar slats than it is putting up drywall. So I've got the entire bedroom done, the inside of both closets, and this wall, and part of this one behind the camera. You'll see that here in a second when I turn it around because there's been another change. And it didn't really slow me down, but I had to change my process some. Let me get it moved and I'll show you what that is. In the video from last December, I was actually had the camera inside that closet, and I was explaining that this cedar planking was going to go all the way down to this corner down here. Since then, that plan has changed too. Now we're going to put in an 8-foot long kitchen. There'll be a bottom counter, top cabinets, a sink. That's all going right here on this end. So I had to put backer boards. I had to put in supports where need be to hang cabinets and mount the base cabinets. I had to put in the 1/2-inch plywood backer for this wall. Once again, not a big deal, just a change of plan, and it takes changes in what I'm doing. It come out nice though. The reason it came out pretty nice is, you're not going to see it, but it's a fairly smooth transition between the cedar planking and the plywood. I got plywood as close as I could to match the thickness of the planking. I could have done spacers and stuff, but there'll be tile back here, so that doesn't really matter. Now I'm going to set the camera in close here for the next shot and explain something that I'll have to do it in 2 shots. Explain something that I should have known better about. Being a master carpenter, literally a licensed master carpenter, I should have known better than this. I don't know why I didn't think of it, but I want to put it on here so that if others do what I did, you'll hopefully avoid that problem. Be right back. Okay, the mistake that I made, and I can fix it, I will fix it, it's just going to be more labor intensive. And I discovered what was causing this issue last night, and I'll get to that. When I put these boards together, this is the back wall here of the bedroom, these boards are touching. They are a tight fit. Half of my boards have good joints like this. I think I'm pointing the right one. Have good joints like this. Nice tight joints that there's really no gap. Let me move you up just a little bit. Half of my boards have gaps like this. They were not put in that way. They were put in tight. Now, let me turn around, let me get the camera reset, and I'll show you exactly what I discovered last night, and I know better, but I still made the mistake. I stopped last night and picked up another 20 planks to put on the walls. As I was loading these planks up, I honestly was thinking to myself, man, I'm getting old, these planks are heavy. And some of you already know what's coming, and you can go ahead and laugh if you want to. Got the planks loaded up, put them in the van, drove up here, was unloading them. I had 3 or 4, I had 4 left over from the previous load. And I moved them after I had loaded these into the cabin. And it dawned on me that the 4 that were here previously were half the weight. So I started looking at them closer and feeling them. They're cedar, they were stored outside. Somewhere through the shipping or in the back of Lowe's or whatever the case may be. They just leave them on pallets outside. This load went through a rainstorm or 2. This load's wet, which means they're expanded. I took a tape measure and I measured the dry ones. They're up in the loft right now. I measured the dry ones. They were a full 3/8 of an inch narrower than the wet ones. That's how much these cedar planks swole. Now, take half of that 3/8, put that gap up here, and that is what's giving me the gaps in the spots where I have them at. I put it up wet, or wetter, it dried, contracted, and left those gaps. And if it's wet, if it was put up wet and wet, then of course you had the half of 3/8 this way and half of 3/8 this way, and that's why I've got those gaps that I can't put my finger into them, but they're good sized gaps. I know better than that. I really do, but I did it anyway. So now, starting I was going to put these boards up today, but what's going to start happening now is these boards will sit in the cabin for a week because it gets toasty warm in here. They'll dry out in here for a week. Next week I'll bring up another load, put them to dry, and I'll use these boards next weekend, use those the following, and I'll just keep doing it that way. It's something to keep an eye out on, something to remember if you're doing a project like this, because these are not tongue and groove, these are not lapped, these are just edge to edge boards, because I'm gonna put chinking in anyway. But it definitely has shown up now that these boards have seasoned inside the building. One of the biggest differences between a year ago and now is I've gone into some more, I would call them comfort items. and they make a huge difference when working up here for a weekend. Before, you remember in other videos, I always had a cot set up over in that corner. It's in this closet right now, but I always had a cot set up on that corner. A cot's better than laying on the ground, but it's not very comfortable. My daughter Claire, because my daughter Bree has been gone for a while now. As a matter of fact, she's having her wedding shower this morning. There was 2 twin beds in Claire's room. So a couple of months ago, I brought this one up here, sleeping on a bed. Oh man, it huge difference. And I don't know how everybody else is, but like when I'm up here by myself, I usually don't start a fire out in the fire pit or anything like that. I come in here, light my lantern up here, and just relax. And I go to bed, like last night I went to bed at like 7:45, 8 o'clock, whatever it was. And then I wake up when the sun's coming up. Totally different than what I do at home. Extremely relaxing. Another item that I got, I'll just walk in and out and sit here for a second. Another item that I got serves multiple purposes. My actual intention today was to put up plankings. I couldn't do that because I discovered what I was doing wrong, so I started mowing. I've been mowing. It's 9:30 in the morning now, and I started mowing about 7:15 or so, and then a little rain shower came through, so I just stopped to come in to do this. While that moved through, the sun's already back out, as you can probably see from the lighting in here. But I had 2 flat tires on the mower. So one of the items I've added that I use in this cabin all the time is one of these 12-volt charger deals. And this one has the air hose on it, which I used. The reason it's out is because I used it to air up the mower. But what I've also started doing is, it has a light on it. The light's pretty good. It's not that bright during the daytime. At night, it does really good. I don't use it very often because this just sits on the floor. I mean, it'll light up the floor down there. It also has a USB charger in it. So if I need to charge up my phone, I don't really use my phone. I'll do a Facebook post every once in a while or something when I'm up here. The bigger point to this, though, is besides being able to air up stuff and jump start stuff if I need to, is it has this 12-volt outlet. So what I've done is, I do not have the heater here right now. But I do have the fan. I bought this at Pilot Truck Stop, or one of the truck stops. It's a Road Pro. It doesn't matter what brand it is. There's a bazillion of these out there. And I knew about all this stuff when I used to be an over-the-road truck driver. With an item like this, when it's 95, 100 degrees in here, I can put this in and have a fan that's on low, and on high, this thing just moves just a ton of air. Likewise, let me set this down. Likewise, with that unit, I have a little 12-volt heater. It's a small little dude, but in a sealed up small cabin like this, you don't need that much. I have to tell you the truth, I have not used it yet in here, but my thought process is there has been a couple of nights over the last couple of years where it was just so cold in here that I just shook. Having the bedroom done, I mean, the insulation, everything's up now and the boards are going up. So last night it got down in the mid-60s. I just slept under that sheet. I left all the windows open. I just slept under the sheet. Being in a bed makes a huge difference over a cot. But when we do have that random cold front come through, I can set that little 12-volt heater up and have it blow right up onto the bed here, or under the bed, or whatever the case may be, whatever I decide works out best, and just knock the chill out of the air. So that is now, when I say I don't have electricity up here anymore, not actually a true statement. I do have electricity as long as that power pack lasts. Anyway, Just want to give an update on what's going on. Like I said, it was mentioned to me that it's been a year, and I decided, yeah, I better do something because I said I would. So I just want to show you around inside the cabin. I've done those other videos with little projects we're doing outside. Those will be picking up again now that that winter's here. The high today is only supposed to be in the 80s, and this is November 26th. It's Thanksgiving weekend. The high is only supposed to be in the 80s, so it's nice to work out there with a good breeze. As these projects come along, I'll try to do a better job of getting my camera out and filming them, videoing them. Like I said before, and people contradict me all the time, I just can't see people enjoying seeing me putting boards up on a wall or mowing or doing things like that, or drainage ditches, those kind of deals. But I'll try to do a better job of showing some of those projects as we do them. Until next time though, remember, get out in the dirt and have some fun. Thanks.